Welcome to the show, Becca. It's so great having you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Great to connect.
You have a very unique and interesting story. I was looking at all of your history and how you had such an incredible career. And most women, I would think, having achieved what you've achieved, would probably just go with it and maybe not want anything to change. And meanwhile, you have had a series of things happen, which I'm very curious to learn about. I don't know all of the details, but things
Yeah,
happen to you that encouraged you or just, I don't know, forced you to create a whole new beginning. So, can
yeah,
you share a little bit with our listeners about what has happened? What is your story?
yeah. Oh gosh. Absolutely. Well, it's not an uncommon story, at least the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like we do what we're told to do,
Mhm.
all of us on this planet are like, you come in with a clean slate and then we're told, okay, well, you do these things by certain ages, right? You go to school, you got to graduate, a lot of like, at least in my family, you got to go to college. I was raised in a very unique religious household, which is a whole other sidebar situation, but it was like Christian Science. So,
Okay.
and it's not Scientology. Everyone thinks it's Scientology, but so I never saw a doctor until I was 18.
Mm. Mhm.
So it was all about the power of prayer. And that's a whole other conversation. But once I got out of the home, I did college, I got a house, I climbed the corporate ladder, manager, director, ending up flying back and forth to New York, getting my MBA, working with Calvin Klein, working with Fortune 500 brands and living the lifestyle. I got married at the right age. Once I was like, oh, I'm like, we're 30, we've been dating. If I'm not the one, I got to get back out there because society says if I'm not married by 30, then there's something definitely wrong. I haven't found my Prince Charming. I did all these things and I had everything on paper, the career, the house, the stuff. Not an uncommon story where you're just like, okay, I've checked all the boxes and I have all the things. And I've been doing what I've been told to do. And like so many people, you get to that spot and you're like, oh, terribly miserable.
Is that what it was? Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just, I mean, it was like all at once. This was like right before the pandemic in 2019. I mean, everything. Like my marriage was, at that point we were together for 15 years. My marriage was crumbling. It was bad on so many levels.
Mhm.
A lot of love there, but just like, the tsunami of all the things that have gone unsaid that you don't communicate. And
Yeah.
that's just hanging up here like a cloud.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the ability to talk through it. My career, it was like this perfect paper company. It had like the foosball tables and the beer on tap and the rooftop thing and a barista and whatever you want. Like it's one of the most beautiful offices that I worked on, but I was so unfulfilled. I so felt like I wasn't being in my true self. I felt like I was performing. Um,
Wow. I
like
do. It's like the true self eventually has to come out and be heard.
yes,
Feeling
yeah.
like it's just suffocating.
Yeah, and I'm strolling into conference rooms in my heels and my stuff, and I'm like, boom, do, 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 do. We're taking the company public for billions of dollars, and I'm like, but deep, deep down,
Mhm.
our inner child, my inner child was, like so many of us hadn't been seen or heard for a
Yeah.
multitude. And so the company's falling apart, my marriage is falling apart, my dad is dying,
Yes.
I'm losing a dear friend to suicide,
Ugh.
and so it's just like
All happening at the same time.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
layers and layers. All of it's coming together. What was the moment that happened that really made you make a change?
I think I got a hand from the universe because I should give myself a little more credit. I also had a hand in it because I think it was the 4th of July
Mhm.
in 2019 and I was, trying to take a vacation and I got an email from the CEO at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon about the crap, I was in marketing and branding and the crap content that my team is putting out. And after like half the department's been dismantled, like just nepotism abounds, like the worst. It's just like such a toxic culture. And I just sob,
Okay.
I'm in the middle of the holiday. I just lay down and I sob. I'm just like, ugh. And I draft that email, the one that you're just like,
Yeah.
and then I just, okay, you put it in the the draft file where all good intentions and wonderful expression goes to die. And I think it was 2 hours later, I'm sitting by the fire pit. I'm looking at the mountains. I'm looking at the sunset. And it was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so I opened back up the email and I hit send. I hit send.
Okay.
I was just like, excellent. And it's like, I'm not going to have a backup from my spouse for income. I don't have anything lined up. Like, none of this is occurring to me. It's just like firm, just no.
Yes.
And that's kind of where my story or for my book, It's Gonna Get Messy, begins.
Yes.
And and I somehow anyway, I managed to get myself fired through that email, but I'd say, "Look, we're not getting along." There's a long story behind it, but I end up getting a 6-month assignment in Mexico,
Okay.
out of that,
Mhm.
which so I guess I did have my back a little bit. But April 1st of 2020 is when I was supposed to go back to the States, and we all know what
Oh,
happened
yeah. Mhm.
in 2020.
Mhm.
So I'm in Mexico with everything in a pod in Portland. I mean, like nothing to go back to. People aren't showing apartments, and I had driven down to Mexico, Baja California Sur, and literally the border shuts down. I'm in a dirt road town with like a couple hundred people.
Wow.
They put dirt in the road. People are with machetes. Like there's no transport. There's no airport. There's like so it just goes woof
No way. Were you alone or were you with colleagues?
alone.
You were alone.
I was
Wow.
alone.
Talk about the universe.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, I just got chills. Woof,
That
woof up
is
my arm.
like that is like out of a movie.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
cannot even imagine. It was just such a scary time for people who were living in their home with, in the comforts of home with their family and their pets, and but to be out on the edge, outside of the country, in
Yeah,
Mexico, out of the border, it's
yeah.
just insane.
And there was like, I mean, looking back, like for a split second, I'm like, well, what do I do? But I'm like, what am I gonna do? Get in my car and drive? Like, this was when hazmat suits were on the news.
Yes.
Nobody knew what was up. Like,
Yes.
it was just like,
Okay.
fright. And it's like, what am I gonna do? Get in my car and stay in hotels for the next 7 days, traveling north to get back to Portland? There was
Yeah.
no flights. There was no nothing. And so I'm like, literally, I'm like, I had just gone through my divorce after being with that partner for 15 years. I had never lived alone in my entire adult life.
Okay.
I grew up in my parents' house. I went to college. I always had friends and roommates.
Mhm.
Then I was dating, and then I was, married. I've never lived alone, and I'm in a dirt road town in the middle of nowhere with myself,
Mm.
literally
Wow.
back.
So tell me what happened. What happened to you when you were there up that dirt road?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of cactuses and some roosters, and I could see the ocean from my like rooftop. But there was like I was like in a ghost town basically.
Wow.
It was exactly what I needed.
Did you have a vision then? Did you start to see what you really wanted? Was it a time where you had like a new beginning, or what were you going through at this point?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, oh gosh. Well, that's kind of the whole thing, right? It's like the whole memoir is like 2019 to 2022. So in this point, it's like where you're just starting to come online. I had the TV off. I wasn't watching the news. I didn't really even know what was happening. I shut everything down. And
Mm.
it was just me, the desert, a morning like walk loop that I had. And for the first time ever, there was someone that came into my life that gave me this is a classic, Power of Now and A New Earth, which we all know are like the handbook to like, here you go,
To
like
life.
to life. Oh, okay, you're here now. Here's like the gate and
Yep.
take this and welcome.
Yep.
And so I sat with those and I sat with my thoughts. And you don't realize how blaring the programming of the societal script of the shoulds is just
Mm.
constantly, constantly,
Yes.
constantly comparison, constantly I'm not good enough, constantly I'm not successful enough, constantly I'm not beautiful enough, constantly I don't have enough, constantly I haven't hit a mile marker by the certain date. Like all this stuff. We have programming in here about what should be happening in this moment in time instead of following our own unique guidance system and path. And so it had been there all along once I
Right.
began to look back on my life. And I'm like, oh my God, it was screaming the entire time, but I couldn't hear it.
Okay.
And so once I got into solitude, once I finally sat with my own thoughts and my own mind,
Mhm.
I saw how loco it is. And
Logo.
I oh, it's super loco.
Mm.
And I realized, wow, so much of this is not my own. So much of this is not my knowing. And so that's where it begins is like, I was like, okay, this is how I began to come home to myself.
Oh, that's really beautiful because I think that it's so scary to think about being alone with ourselves. And when you think about that's the most severe punishment in prison is solitary confinement because the worst thing you can do is have to sit with yourself and not be distracted by other prisoners and wardens and people to be alone. But then it's like when you could tap into it, it's really incredible to you find there is a peace, there is a knowing, there is a connection. What
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
wild. It's wild that we don't do it unless we're forced.
Yep.
Isn't
Yeah.
it wild?
It's wild. And like, I so feel you because that during that time, right before I ended up in Mexico alone, I had such anxiety. Like I had to Google, I kid you not, how to dine out alone.
Oh,
Like
wow.
the thought of me going out alone was just
Yeah.
gave me all sorts of like, oh, there's something wrong. This lady's at the bar by herself, like
Mm,
there's so much in the societal script that tells you that that's wrong.
yeah.
That you sitting out by a woman at a certain age, that's just like, oh, we're outside of the box of what is okay.
Mhm.
So messed up. And even like one of the first moments in Mexico, I write about going into like a higher end restaurant on a holiday, and I'm just in line, and there's like couples in front of me and couples behind me, and I'm just like, I had to circle the block. I'm like,
Mm,
okay, okay, okay. I'm like, we're gonna go in. We're going in. And
wow.
then, but I mean, but this is the person now who I love my alone time. I am more comfortable in my solo solitude time than I am with other people. And I
Wow.
never thought that would be possible. Like I couldn't even imagine that.
Well, for the many women out there who are struggling with aloneness, because that's primarily my client base, women in transition and women who are seeking relationships that are feeling lonely and they
Yeah.
haven't discovered that really pure, I don't know what the word is, peace, joy that you can find in solitude. Do you
Yeah.
have any words to kind of light their path as they're navigating that path? Because it sounds like you did it it was very aggressively because you were in that situation that was
Yeah.
so almost like a scientific project to put someone in confinement. And many other women in day-to-day life, they don't have that. They have moments of solitude because they still are not in a situation like yours. It's forced. So, how do you encourage them to begin to fall into that state of peace with themselves?
Yeah. Oh, well, man, as soon as you said that too, and I thought of those women, I could feel them on my heart because I've been there
Yeah.
and I get it. I get it. And to be clear, this when I share my full story, at least like the 2019 to 2022 range, it wasn't like an overnight thing. It did take time to build that trust within.
Yeah.
That and the reason why it's gonna get messy is because it gets really, really, really messy where all the awareness of all the ways I was betraying myself, like all of a sudden became known and
Okay.
seen, and it's working through all that.
Okay.
But what I can say to women in that space is, at least from myself too, like I think most women do, right? We have people pleasing for sure.
Mhm.
We have codependency. I didn't realize how rampant mine was until it smacked me upside the head. And for me, to be clear, like with my my former partner, I would brush my teeth with him. I
Mm,
would I would like shower with him. I mean, we were like, I didn't go out and do anything on my own because
okay.
I just loved that company. And so carving out those moments of choosing silence. Okay, your partner wants to go watch football. Great. Not to be cliche, I love football, but I want to go to a sound healing. I want to go do a little weekend retreat, with yoga and other women. And I've been craving, like I've been really wanting to painting. I've been thinking about painting for a decade, but I haven't picked up a brush.
Mhm.
It's like, those little whispers are happening. And so it's listening to those and saying, okay, I'm going to go do this for myself. This is
Mm,
for me. It's not for anyone else.
mhm.
And carving out those moments in time, because like as women, we constantly give outside of ourselves and we're constantly putting ourselves last. And if you want to feel that comfort from within, it's choosing those moments to do what lights you up, do what excites you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be anything massive, as
Yeah.
it's little things that matter.
Yes. Yes, that's great advice. So tell us more because there's a lot in this messy middle. So we're starting with this quarantine situation.
Yeah.
And that's when you're first meeting yourself and your thoughts, it sounds like. This is where you're actually becoming aware of all of this. Is that right? Of how active your thoughts are and how much they're not aligned with your truth.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
happening. That's happening in Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and
Tell us more.
look,
What's next?
I'm spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Um, but I have to say too, just along the lines of, advice, that is when I really started to meditate.
Okay.
And we all know the power of meditation. And we all have the idea that meditation is like this super zen, we're super quiet, it's super, everything's just flow. No, meditation is messy. It's a hot mess. I wish everyone just explain how messy it is. It's like if you can get a split second in the beginning of peace, you've nailed it. Because
Mm,
it's just thinking and going, I should do this thing. I should send that email. Why did I do that when I was 5? I love peanut butter. Like it's just your mind is constantly going. So meditation is when I finally was able to carve out the 15 minutes a day. I love the Headspace app. That's what I used. And just 15 minutes to sit with yourself and do that body scan. I
mhm.
couldn't do it when I first started. I couldn't do it. And I'm like, this is surely not a good thing. I'm like, I actually couldn't like feel into my body. And so doing meditation in that way allowed me to really hear my own voice, to tune in what was happening in my body, right? Because that's where your intuition lives, is in your body. And if you can't tune into the internal compass that's happening here, you're never going to hear it. And so that was the
Mhm.
time I started meditating a lot, reading all the things, getting out to nature. Like a big part of my day was literally just like a huge loop. So there's nothing else to do. Walking through farm fields, walking through, like there was nobody. I mean, walking by the ocean, walking through farm fields, walking in the dirt town, um, with AirPods in, no music.
Mm. Even that's profound because it's so rare. I'm in London right now and it's just everywhere people have AirPods in, including myself. I don't always, but it's becoming too much of a habit.
Yeah,
And it's just listening to music, listening to books.
yeah. I discovered that at some point during I think it was later when I went to a meditation retreat. I don't put headphones in anymore when I walk. I don't listen to other podcasts. I'm not multitasking. I'm not assimilating yet more information from outside of myself. It's a chance just to breathe and to notice the tree and to notice the sky. So much comes up in your thoughts during that time that you're able to go through and process versus just more noise outside of yourself. Because and
Mhm,
then so it's noise, 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 noise all day,
mhm.
conversation, consumption, and then you go to bed and and then you do it again. So I didn't realize until I had that time out, universe, like sit your butt down and, be alone and be quiet, uh,
Wow.
that you finally get to hear all that you have to say. And it's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Lot.
Wow. So this was 2019, so that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And you've had a lot of process, it sounds like. You've done retreat, you've done other things. You have a new book, you have basically a new invention of your career. Do you
Yeah.
feel now what you're doing is in alignment with who you truly are?
Yeah.
You feel that now?
Oh, it almost like makes me tear up.
It's just that that must just be, I mean, you look back at you, the version of you that was pre-COVID, that was working so hard,
Yeah.
and where you are now, it must just be overwhelming, the feeling.
It's it yeah, when you pause and look back on it, when you're in it, you don't see those little micro steps of progress, which as a society is a whole thing I work on and I work on with clients too, is just to like, okay, you have to be conscious of how far you've come and acknowledge it because we're always on to the next thing. Like it's so hard for us to pause and acknowledge it. Um, I was gonna try to see. I have to show you. I have to show you a photo. I have it just because I've been reflecting more on this, but this is the version of me going to New York and
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just buttoned up and doing what I'm supposed to
Yeah,
do.
you look, yeah, exactly.
And now there's so much balance in my day. I had a spiritual side my whole life that I kind of fought because of the way I was raised and told, like, this is going to be a thing. But it was in that solitude and in that time of 2020, losing my father
Mm,
and him coming to me after he passed.
he did?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a direct experience.
Yeah.
Were you asleep or awake?
Awake,
Okay.
very awake.
Did that play a huge part in this process for you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my good.
He knew because his whole life, he's trying to get me to awaken to that spiritual side. And he was always there. I loved stuff like Celestine prophecy and Ishmael and even Dalai Lama. I had a spiritual side. I wasn't super into the organized religion, but they pushed it on me so hard that I pushed it away.
Okay.
Um, and and then as I was sort of the right guides were coming in 2019 and 2020, like read the book, and someone's like, come do this combo ceremony. And I'm like, I'm all judgy as hell. I'm like, oh, so you're in. And next thing you know, I'm doing like, every psychedelic on the planet because I wanted to get closer to what my dad showed me was our true essence. I don't think my story would have shifted and I'm sure I would have gotten there, but him coming to me after death and I mean, just showing us where we all come from and what our true essence is. I can never be more grateful for a gift in my entire earthly experience than that moment.
Wow, that is incredible. He came to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so
I mean, just
the
fully. Oh, go ahead.
I don't wanna do a spoiler alert because I'm sure this is a very important part of your
Yeah.
story. Is there anything more you can share about that experience? Like, he came to you, and did you feel a shift? Did you feel something change? Like, there was a you before that experience with him, and now there's another you after that
Yeah.
experience with him?
Yeah. And, I struggle with this because I'm like, yeah, I mean, I feel like the book is like it's this huge symphony of all of this. And there's so much more that happens there. And
Yeah,
the beauty is in the story, right? And
yeah,
if that resonates, then if someone wants to go grab the book, they'll grab the book.
yeah.
But I feel like the importance of, I mean, I was just, I was under the full moon and I was doing it was just really a sound healing. And I asked, I was like, this is 30 days on the nose after he passed. And I was like, if you're out there, I was like, show me. And I close my eyes, I get into the thing. And next thing you know, I feel a hand go right across my forehead and tug my hair.
Oh my god.
And next thing you know, I'm out of my body. I am not in my body. I'm in wherever we all come from and where we're all going.
He took you with him.
Yeah.
This is
So
really amazing.
So we're in consciousness and he's light and I'm light. And I'm just like, where you just know it's him.
Oh
Like,
God.
and he speaks to me, of course, without words as we do where we come from. And I'm like, Dad, I'm like, is this what we are? And he's like, yes. Like, aren't we so beautiful? And I'm like, and we're like dancing, our latest dancing. And I'm like, there's so many questions I had in that moment, but I'm like, can I stay? And the moment I asked if I could stay, I felt myself come right back in, except it was like trying on a wetsuit. Like I could feel myself come back in, and I'm like, oh, like I could feel the weight of it. I could feel,
Oh,
I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, no, no. I was like, take me back.
oh
You
my
know,
gosh. That is incredible.
it was,
I have not heard a story like this before, ever. That is such a blessing. I can't even put my words, cannot, there are no words.
yeah, no. And I come to find out this is what I want. But
Yes.
it's always been written, and I didn't know this, and I find that out later. And so,
Okay.
like, yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
then it gets very messy because I'm very confused about, like, all of a sudden everything that we do here on Earth seems very pointless to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, you want me to pay my phone bill, and like you would like me to like eat food to put into this meat suit, and you would like me to, you know, achieve certain levels of success or this. Like I'm just like, this is so I you would think it would bring profound purpose, but it actually did the opposite for a little bit. Um, and that's where I go on quite the learning. I try pretty much, it's my year of psychedelics because I'm like, I want to get back to that. I want to get as close to that as I can get because I get back into the matrix, if you will, and I'm like, I literally make a mess of a lot of things. And I want to get back to that consciousness. I want to get back to that intelligence. And so I go through some of the most profound, strong psychedelics on the planet to get back there. And there's a ton of learning that comes from that.
Okay. Wow.
Uh, but it wasn't until the meditation retreat at the end where things all kind of Rubik's cube into place. And that's where I know in my whole soul that sharing this story, doing what I'm doing now, living how I'm living. I'm still in Mexico. I sold everything and came back once the border opened up. And everyone's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I have no clue, but you'll see again the story. There's all these synchronicities that it's like, there's no choice. I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
You're in
Yeah.
Mexico now.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I've been there for 6 years because once the border opened up, then I go back and all the signs and synchronicities that happen, and I come right back.
Oh, I can't
Uh,
wait to read your book.
oh,
This is amazing.
well, thank you for allowing me to share it. I just know the beautiful thing about the book that I didn't expect, and then there's a part two where the book is also not. This was not on my agenda. This was not like I need to do this thing and that everything's gonna be great. Like I fought it, but it was
Oh,
it
okay.
was like, it was clear as day. I'm in the car and it was like write the book, and I'm like I pull over. It was so loud, and I sat at the edge of the road, and I'm like, oh no. It's taken me 3 years to do it because in doing it, not only sharing the story of my dad and I, getting through I go through all of my own self doubts, my
Yeah.
own not trusting my intuition, my own abandoning myself, and I do it well
Yeah.
until I don't. Um, but yeah, it wasn't on like I had to do this thing, but through this, the beautiful thing I didn't expect, and it just came out the end of September. It came out September 30th, the 5-year anniversary of my dad passing, like on the day that he passed.
Wow.
And it's dedicated to him
Oh,
for a multitude of reasons. No, I still can't say that. and not get like this.
Oh,
Um, Still gets me.
yeah.
But it's like through sharing the story though, yeah, it's my story, but like it's every person that's read it, it's our story. Like
Yes.
everyone,
Yes.
everything we see each other, and it's just helping people mirror their own stories and maybe because it's everyone everyone that's read it is like, wow, you really you really put it out there. Like it's very raw, it's very vulnerable. The thought of someone reading it terrified me, and I just had to do it. And I
Yeah.
can't explain everyone reading it just makes me get closer to you. It gets me closer to whoever's listening. Like it just I feel like it just helps people share their own mess and not be
Yes.
so hard on themselves. And more that we share our own mess, the more we connect and the more we stop judging ourselves and we can all live our own true, authentic path. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, yes, definitely. I feel like people like you that have it happen to them at a level 10, we all go through different processes of growth and change and becoming who we are. But someone like you who does it so spectacularly with all the extremes of it, including the connection moment with your father, are giving us a blueprint to see this is what happened to her. And it happened in a very big way. But that makes everyone feel like, okay, if I see this blueprint, mine may not look like that. It's not going to look like that because it's not COVID right now. And,
Yeah.
my father is still alive or he's passed 10 years ago. It's a different, but there's a reason for all of it. Everything's happening to you, for you. And other people can look at it and say, okay, I can have it too. Hopefully I can get there too, where I feel like I can be with myself and I don't have to avoid myself. And I can
Yes.
finally feel like I'm living the life I'm here to live.
Yeah.
It's really because if we don't have that as a reference, we don't know that that's really possible. If we don't
Right.
know, other people can do it. And it's like, okay, she can do it. I can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Brave. I have
Yeah.
a question about I know you have so many processes you went through. Did you just feel like there was just always a higher intelligence, a greater plan for you making those changes, those steps that you did during those years, those processes from the plant meds to the retreats? Were you just kind of following that path?
Yeah. And I want to say too, like, exactly. I talk about that in the book. It's like your dad might have been an asshole. And, you don't have to come to Mexico to find your peace. That's my path. The problem is we look to others for the blueprint,
Yeah.
right? We look for the blueprint, like, okay, I'm going to go do that. No,
Yeah.
no, no. Don't like that's what I talk about is how to find your own blueprint because
Yeah.
you have a blueprint as unique as your fingerprint
Yep.
and it's for you.
Hmm.
It's for nobody but you. And
Yeah.
so, how I made those decisions and how I made the moves to come back or do this next thing, I kind of share how I learned to tap into my own intuition and what that looks like and feels like in like matrix life,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like, how do you get that thread? How do you get that access? How do you tie into it?
Yeah.
Um, and it's been years of growing that. And now I feel like my ability to tap into that with my dad stronger than ever. I still see and feel him. He usually comes like in the evening, but tapping into that higher consciousness that we're all a part of, I can see and feel things that I couldn't before. And we all have that. I'm not special. Maybe I'm special and that my story can help other people resonate and shine their own unique bright light that they are, but we're all that special.
Yes.
Like every single one of us, we're
Yeah.
that special. Listening is that special.
Yeah.
Like we're all worthy.
Yes. Oh, thank you. This has been incredible. I'm so
Mm.
grateful to you, Becca, for this time. You're so vulnerably sharing something that you experienced with so much raw emotion still. It's palpable. It's really incredible to be part of this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. I just have one thing I wanted to do before we close, and it's something I do with every guest. So my show is called Her New Lens because of my story and where I work with clients on perspective. And I think we all have a very unique way of seeing the world. And however, we also sometimes might be able to offer different perspectives to others because we can say, this is a different way of seeing it. Like maybe, to offer different perspectives. And I was going to ask you if you could suggest one lens that has either been very helpful to you as you've navigated all of these changes, or that you would recommend to readers or listeners that are going through transition, change situations right now, what would be a lens you would suggest?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. It sounds cliche. Um, and I feel like there has to be like a new way to say it. But when people say, everything is happening for you, and I
Yeah.
was like, ugh, like, oh, come on. However, that is the lens that helps the absolute most because when you're in that messy middle, when life is falling apart, when you realize your relationship isn't what you thought it was, when you realize your career wasn't was, when you realize your relationships are draining you and you're trying to fit in instead of just being loved for your own authentic self. And there's like all this mess and there's these fights and there's these arguments and all this. And I myself too would like push it away. I'd be like, oh, how do I make this stop? And so many times I would like button it back up and be like, okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. And just like sweep it under the rug. But the mess and those moments where everything is falling apart is the magic. That is when life is showing you where you are off track. And so
Mm.
it took quite a few life blows, and the universe served me up a really nice set all in a row to just pummel me down out of ego and to realize that when those moments hit, if you can allow your feelings to be felt, which I never did, I just shoved them down and I just buttoned it back up. If you can allow those feelings to be felt and really see, like, okay, how am I inviting this moment in? How am I a part of this? That's when you can start to really see and feel with a new lens where your life is off track.
Got it.
And we think like all this stuff is happening to me.
Yes.
You're absolutely creating it. And once you can see that with a new lens, then you're able to like, okay, I can respond to this differently. I can see where their changes need to be made. And it's in those messy moments that we all typically avoid. And that's where the path is. And so,
Yes. Okay. Got
yeah,
it. Okay. So seeing through, so it's almost like seeing the mess of everything happening through a lens of surrender, acceptance, trusting that it's happening for you
yeah,
versus in accepting it in it as it is. Is that what you're
exactly.
saying? Okay, instead of trying to avoid it, try to get
Right.
away from it,
Right.
it's saying, I am going to see it through my lens. I'm going to allow and accept and surrender to this big, huge mess, whatever it and
Yeah.
as it's meant to be right now.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
That's where like the body keeps the score. And so as you feel those feels, as you like, hey, I am feeling betrayed. I am feeling unseen. I am feeling, and be with the situation, feel it fully, journal about it, write it down, talk to like a dear one about it instead of just pushing through and onto the next busy calendar thing and onto the next podcast and onto the next thing to distract you. Actually feel it and allow yourself to get through it in all the ways. And sometimes sometimes you have to swim through it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 times. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But don't push it away when you see that with that new lens and you're like, okay, and how can I do this differently next time? And those learnings like to come around in this cyclical fashion because you're like, why is this coming back around? I thought I dealt with that. But every time you deal with it, you deal with it with a new level of awareness.
Yeah.
As you get the new level of awareness, then you're able to meet it deeper and deeper until you're able to like get to the root
Okay.
and then pull it out.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Becca. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having. I love the conversation. It's We all have our magic, and you're very easy to talk to. You can see your light and sincerity, and I enjoyed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.